Glover Teixeira says that Israel Adesanya does not want to fight Alex Pereira again, and especially not at light heavyweight. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Glover said, "I don't want to keep talking because sometimes it will come out like I'm talking and I'm not that type of guy. But Adesanya doesn't want to fight him. Adesanya is in a great position right now. He has a lot of money. I'm not saying he's scared. If he had never won the UFC belt, he would definitely move up and fight Alex for his belt. But he's at the top of the world, man. Do you think he's going to fight this guy? He probably wants more of special fights now, easier guys. To go there and fight someone from a previous generation, a former champion, maybe Anderson Silva again, or Paulo Costa, man. Pereira at light heavyweight? Poor guy. It's the fight that gives him the most money. I believe he gets paid double if he fights Poatan instead of any other. But guess who he's going to fight? It's like people say, if you get paid double, do you do this work? I'll do it, man. But it depends. How many people say I don't work for that person even if they pay me double? He'll be like, I don't want Poatan ever again, man. Especially at light heavyweight. There's no such thing like vengeance in MMA, at least not for us. The belt is with my friend now and that's what matters. Sure, bring it to the gym. We get more love in the city, representing Connecticut and Brazil. We brought it home, but what really makes me happy is that he has the belt, you know? Khamzat Chimaev pretended to shoot a takedown on Ciryl Gane last night.
A final word from you, Abu Bakr Amo. Mamar, way Melvin bol naqtagan ujeli akubi ishtiqidan. Hadu aduna al-masolma. Allah dal gesh.
The MMA community is not happy with Henry Cejudo after some comments he made regarding Tom Aspinall. If you missed what he said, regarding Tom winning the interim title, Henry said, "Watching Tom Aspinall win the interim world title. He's already celebrating. I mean, it's an interim, Tom. Save those tears for when you actually win the real belt." Sometimes when I see people like that they just get too emotional after an interim belt, like, yeah, you got a trophy, but it's like they might as well dip that thing in silver or bronze, because it's not the real thing. I mean that with all due respect. Anthony Smith reacted to this on the Believe You Me podcast. Smith thinks Henry came off as a bit of an asshole, and says if Henry doesn't like Tom crying, he could go f himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of spoken like a true asshole. First of all, and I like Cejudo, and usually he has some really good takes on things. I think he does a great job breaking down film and tape. But that's something that like only him or like DC would say. Guys that are like ultimate winners. And I mean that in a good way. Like these guys have won everything. They've won world Olympic medals in wrestling, several medals, especially DC in the NCAA's wrestling. Medal after, I mean, think about the amount of medals that DC has worn around his neck from wrestling is in the thousands probably. And Cejudo's the exact same way. And then you start adding in UFC titles and the amount of times they defended, and so of course they're going to look down their nose at an interim title. But for guys that aren't born great, that are just like you and me and Tom and just regular people, that is a huge accomplishment. And from the way that Tom talks and where he came from, it pulls at my heartstrings, because it's very, like, it reminds me of where I came from. It's very small, it's very humble. Not a lot of people come out of where I came from doing great things or end up in positions like Tom Aspinall did. So I look up to Tom, like, I want to accomplish that. That is a world title around his waist. So if he wants to cry about it, go f yourself if you don't like it. Like, that is a life achievement that 99.9% of the population walking this planet will never ever touch.
I have often said interim titles, they're great. That is the opening of the door to potentially unimaginable wealth for somebody like Tom, for real, genuine, working class people. Do you know what I mean? The next, if he fights John Jones, he's going to get a percentage of the pay-per-view. He's going to get millions of dollars.
It's nothing against Cejudo and those kind of guys. They're just, they're different. They're different, and you got to look at it from a lens of just a regular person.
Here's Daniel Cormier's reaction to Henry's comments. DC says he likes Henry, but he cannot be more wrong.
Henry Cejudo, man, I like the guy. I do. This dude has never been more wrong. Henry said, Tom Aspinall shouldn't have been as emotional to become the champion. It's not the real belt. It's not fair. Henry Cejudo became the UFC champion because he's a tremendous athlete and he is just a winner. He's just a winner. But Henry Cejudo was not groomed to be UFC champion. Henry Cejudo was groomed to be the Olympic wrestling champion, and he did that. And when he did that, he cried. He was excited, and he was the champ, and it felt like he had accomplished the world. That's what Tom Aspinall did. Interim or not, they're wrapping 12 pounds of gold around his belt, so he got emotional. That feels as real to him as that Olympic gold medal put around Henry Cejudo's neck back in Beijing. His father quit working to train him to go chase that belt. Henry's wrong. Friend or not, wrong.
Tom Aspinall fired back at Henry. Tom did an interview with Michael Bisping on his YouTube channel. Here's what they had to say.
Have you seen Henry Cejudo's comments?
No, I don't watch that little squirt.
Well, good for you. Good for you. Listen to what this little rat had to say. Listen, Henry's all right. I don't mind Henry, right? The headline here is Henry Cejudo craps on an emotional Tom Aspinall for weepy interim title win.
It doesn't matter to me, mate, what he says. To be honest,
Yeah.
He's about 5'3". If he spoke, I probably wouldn't hear him. He's that far away from me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's trying to get headlines, isn't he? He's trying to get headlines, obviously.
Trying to get clicks for his YouTube channel. That's all it is.
Yeah, we've all been there, Mike, haven't we? Yeah.
We've all been there, buddy. And he's mates with John Jones as well.
Okay, then fair enough, mate. Whatever, I'm not really bothered. But it's back to that.
Henry Cejudo responded to Daniel Cormier. Henry posted this to X.
Damn, DC, I see it, man. I see you're turning on your Olympic teammate. I get it. I'm starting to wonder, DC, if you're one of those guys, if you're one of those dads that loves to just give everybody trophies. You know, and I will say this, and I will stick to my guns. Tom Aspinall over-celebrated. He really did. It's not about being second place. It's not about being an interim champ. It's about being the absolute best in the world. You know, but you wouldn't know, DC, because you ain't the greatest combat athlete of all time. You ain't the Olympic champ. You ain't the flyweight champ. You ain't the bantamweight champion of the world. You just ain't, and I get it. And I really can't relate to you.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one says, imagine still not understanding the fact that Alex was trying to look out for Izzy. The second one's from Zach H420. Says the UFC knows if they strip John, they won't get any more fights out of him. They're trying to get everything they can out of him before he goes. No way he fights Aspinall and risk his legacy. And the final one's from the Torian Rose. It says Aljo was able to respond cool as a cucumber and didn't let sharp words hurt him. Definitely a mature fighter. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.